Why does the Senate exist? Is it a place for truth, or has it become a stage where lies are carefully choreographed? If powerful government officials commit crimes, who really holds them accountable? And in the case of Albert Ojwang, the young man who mysteriously died in police custody, is the Senate investigating, or is it simply helping cover up the truth? Today, we expose how Kenyan Senate, once seen as the House of Justice, has been turned into nothing more than a scene of crime, a tool for the executive to manipulate public anger while protecting the real killers behind closed doors.
You don't see, you don't know. C.S. Murkomen, please, for the respect of this young man, you are yet to grow a child up to the age of 31. Can you immediately resign? You are not fit to be in that docket.
The Senate session investigating Albert Ojwang's death looked serious on the surface, but the deeper you look, the more disturbing it becomes. Inside that chamber, under oath, Inspector General Kanja and Deputy Commander Ayamin told Kenyans that Albert was completely healthy when he was brought to the Central Police Station. But hold on the other hand, OCS Samson Talam and his officers, in their statement to IPOA, said that Albert was unwell and needed to be rushed to Mbagathi Hospital immediately.
The officers claim Ojwang was already in critical condition when he was brought into the station. They allege in their statements that they made efforts to save his life upon realizing his deteriorating state of health.
So, who do we believe? Two completely opposite stories. One truth and the other one obviously a lie. But then, the story takes an even darker turn.
It has further been confirmed that before the booking, the report office personnel called the OCS. And it's unfortunate it's been said that Talam, Honorable Chair, Honorable Speaker, is the OCS and not the OSPD. That he declined to book the suspect. Talam is the officer commanding Central Police Station. And from the totality of things, he should be treated as a prime suspect in the matter.
But here's the problem. Talam was not even in the station when Albert arrived. He was called in after the situation escalated, and his first action was to rush Albert to hospital, trying to save his life. So how does a man who wasn't even present suddenly become the prime suspect? What was his motive? What relationship did he even have with Albert? None. Zero. It is a clear scapegoating, sacrificing the small officers to protect the big men.
Yes, at the Central Police Station, we have CCTV. Currently, as I did indicate, the investigations are ongoing, being carried out by the IPOA. While we were at Senate yesterday, it was mentioned that the power of one of the CCTVs had actually been plucked off.
And it gets even more suspicious. The CCTV cameras at the station, they were disconnected at the crucial time. Albert's alleged call to his family at 9:24 p.m., Safaricom has no record of it. The Directorate of Criminal Investigation even tried to obtain data on bloggers criticizing the Deputy Inspector General, but both Safaricom and the Communications Authority of Kenya denied any involvement. So, where did the DCI get that data? Who is accessing private data in secret? And who is deleting the evidence? Everything points to a sophisticated cover-up. But the most painful part is not even the lies. It's the realization that the Senate is no longer the place to seek justice. And if you think that this is the first time the executive has used the Senate to control justice, think again. Look at Rigathi Gachagua. When he was the deputy president, the system turned against him. Suddenly, cases were opened, allegations were flying, and when his team tried to get justice, where did they run? The Senate. But it was too late. The executive had already issued its orders. The Senate, which was supposed to be neutral, suddenly became hostile. Evidence was ignored, witnesses were silenced, and in the end, Gachagua was impeached.
If you have just joined our live broadcast, the breaking news that is in is that Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua tonight stands impeached, making history as the first sitting deputy president to be impeached by both houses of parliament.
Not because of real justice, but because the system had decided his fate even long before the hearing began. The Senate didn't defend the truth. It defended the executive's interest. And now, Albert Ojwang faces the same betrayal. The complainant in this case, suspected to be the DIG himself, refuses to step aside for investigations. He sits comfortably in his office as his juniors are thrown under the bus. Meanwhile, the Senate stage manages a performance.
Instead of terminating the services of junior policemen, we want to see senior police officers, the Director General, the Deputy Director General, and even the Director General should resign or they should be fired.
But behind the scenes, the outcome is already decided. They want us to believe that justice has been served. But what we are seeing is smokes and mirrors. The big boys are using the Senate as a shield, while the truth is buried deeper and deeper. But imagine being Albert's family, watching as the people who killed your son not only walk free, but manipulate the highest institutions in the country to protect themselves. Imagine knowing that the Senate, the place where Kenyans hope for justice, has become just another weapon for the corrupt. This isn't just about Albert. This is about all Kenyans. If the Senate can be used like this, then who will defend ordinary citizens? Who will defend you?
So I believe we are also going to get a lot of information. The investigators are going to get a lot of information from the CCTV. And number two, we're also going to get to know who is this that unplugged the power from the power source. So all that is subject to that investigation that is currently ongoing.
The Senate has been reduced to a stage for cover-ups. As long as the executive controls the process, then there can never be justice. The Senate has become the perfect crime scene where the killers investigate themselves and declare their own innocence. If we remain silent, then this won't be the last Albert. We must demand real investigations. We must demand that the DIG steps aside. We must demand that all evidence, CCTV, phone records, and even witnesses be present in full view of the public. Because if we don't, the Senate will continue to fool Kenyans again and again. If you believe that Kenyans deserve better, then share this video. Subscribe for more as we continue to reveal how power is being abused in our country. And remember, justice will only come when we stop being silent.
That session at the Senate today was meant to confuse us and give us a different narrative. It was meant to manage public anger. Because number one, IG Kanja and DCI Amin under oath told us that Albert Ojwang was well and healthy when he was being taken to Central Police Station. But on the other side, the OCS, Samson Talam, and his officers recorded a statement at IPOA saying that indeed Albert Ojwang was not well and they had to rush him to Mbagathi Hospital. So whom do we believe? That's number one. Number two, DCI Amin under oath told us that the prime suspect in the murder is OCS Talam. But OCS Talam was not in the station when Albert Ojwang was being taken there. He had to be called, and when he came, they had to rush him to Mbagathi. So how can he be the prime suspect when he was not there? And if indeed he's the prime suspect, what motive did he have? What motivation? What was the relationship between Talam and Ojwang? Nothing. And then there's this other issue of CCTV being disconnected. And then we were also told that a call was made by Ojwang to the family at 9:24 p.m. But Safaricom has not given us the recordings. Now, we were also told that DCI contacted Communications Authority of Kenya to give them details of the bloggers who had posted things about the DIG. But this evening, the Communications Authority of Kenya have refuted those claims and have said that they were not involved in any case. Safaricom have also said that they were not involved. So where did DCI get the data on the bloggers? And the complainant has also refused to step aside to allow investigations to take place. Because justice must not only be done, it must also be seen to be done. And that can only happen if the DIG has stepped aside. And if he is proven not guilty, then he will have his job back. So all this points to the direction of cover-up. Somebody's covering up something. The big boys are trying to pin the murder on the small boys. And the big boys are willing to use the Senate and other media stations to make it happen. But it must not happen. Justice must be done. And the real culprit must be caught. And if Senate is serious about getting to the bottom of the matter, then they must call the OCS Talam, his officers. They must call the DCI officers who transported Ojwang from Homa Bay to Nairobi, so that they can give their side of the story.